Captain America gives a real good monologue, but don't sleep on Thor's best lines. While Captain America can deliver a heartwarming and hopeful plea to his allies, only Thor has the power to wield his words with the weight of the king of all gods. With the highest seat in Asgard, Thor carries a deep sense of reassuring strength when tragedy befalls his subjects. He may not rally others as effortlessly as Steve, but the heavenly weight of a god's words is incomparable. Steve Rogers and Thor have a lot in common. Regardless of their initial reasoning, both have carried the tremendous responsibility of leading armies of soldiers. They make life and death decisions on behalf of others, but push themselves to go beyond their expectations of leadership for the betterment of their teams. Millennia more experienced commanding, now fully stepping up to command all of Asgard. No longer as youthfully arrogant as he once was, the All-Father's speeches are powerful ones. Thor's best lines leave Captain America in the dust. At the end of a dystopian future, where Gore has successfully killed every god in all existence, Thor Odinson remains Asgard's last god. Despite having lost everything, Thor refuses to bow to Gore, or to let Gore have his complete victory. Thor had watched his people and generations of his family die at the hands of a decidal heretic. When there is nothing left but the last spark of Asgard's pride, Thor delivers a powerful speech to an empty hall. Filled with nothing but the All-Father and Gore's forces, the halls echo with Thor's words. Thor's son officially returns to Marvel continuity, resurrecting the Thunder God's hidden crime against humanity. The immortal Thor's latest twist involves the reintroduction of Thor's son from a dark alternate future into mainstream Marvel continuity. Continue reading. Plunging himself into the hounds, Thor proclaims the final words of Asgard. The end of all things is near. Death to the butcher of gods and his black berserkers. Death to the enemies of Asgard. As long as Thor has been alive, he has lived with the weight of Asgard's pride on his back. Every moment of his character growth is defined by his progress to become a good king. After stripping himself of everything but his crown, Thor still yells for the warriors who have long fallen in service to Asgard's throne. Thor had been absent throughout Marvel's first Civil War event, instead tending to Asgardian matters. While away, Tony Stark used DNA that he had previously stolen from Thor to create a clone of the god that would serve on Tony's side in the war. However, this cyborg-slash-clone version of Thor proved to be too difficult to handle after killing Goliath from the opposing team. When the true God of Thunder learns of Iron Man's betrayal, he releases a harsh warning, reminding Tony of the gap between the two men. Iron Man, my armor's fried. How am I supposed to get back to base? Thor, walk. Thor hardens his rage into a firm but restrained resolve. He feels disappointed. He is not angry at Tony because Thor sees him as a lesser being. In the scope of Thor's life, Iron Man will be little more than a blip in the end. The God of Thunder lets Tony live because of their shared history, but from that day forward, they are no longer pretending to be equals. Tony deserved what he had coming. Like an unruly child who gets overconfident, Thor had to put his fellow Avenger in his place. When the Impossible City first entered Earth 616, it carried a group of the multiverse's foulest monsters within its walls. Of this group, known as the Ashen Combine, is a seraphim-like creature called Idol Alabaster. Alabaster wished to be venerated as a god and possessed the power to compel others to follow her as one. If she were ever injured, Alabaster transferred that injury to her followers. Thor admonishes her use of followers as a means of defense, proudly stating that he does not need to hide behind his followers. Thor believes that to inspire strength, he must turn himself into an example for his devotees. Thor's call to the false god echoes with honor and pride. To be a god is both a noble birthright and a heavy responsibility. A god is supposed to lead and live for their followers. Even if every follower turned their back, a true god still fights for their people. Worship, supplication, adulation. You feed off it, idol alabaster. You weaponize it, he proclaims to the alien being. To Thor, it's a matter of duty. His proclamation against Alabaster is meant to strip his opponent of the ability to believe herself to be a true god. These are only a few snippets of Thor's powerful speeches. Thor is a headstrong leader, more concerned with making his enemies bow in fear of his and his people's power. He believes that to inspire strength, he must turn himself into an example for his devotees. Thor understands the gravity of his burdens and responsibilities, carrying that honor with pride.